Hi, I'm Ian. I'm the founder and owner of T8 Partnerships, a independent consultancy based in Manchester. We get our clients' listings into the sports and entertainment space. So I've been operating for about 5.5, 6 years. My business has been growing over the last few years and has slightly changed what we've been doing with this greater focus on these supply-led partnership deals. And before I started working with Sean, it was quite hard to manage my day-to-day, week-to-week time and to keep on top of all of the various leads that I would have. I would speak to football clubs and rugby clubs and cricket clubs and venues and stadiums and all sorts. And each call I had might lead to four or five potential deals, and I might have 10 calls a week like that, or 15 calls a week. So my deal pipeline was growing all the time with no way of managing it particularly well. That has almost immediately changed since we started working with Sean and building the platform out. I wasn't really using many tools before I started working with Sean. It was much more. I really tried hard to try and keep everything in one central place, but it was very difficult to. I was using Microsoft Excel predominantly. I really tried to avoid situations where I had like paper and pen and pads and lists of things, and tried to keep it in one central spot. But I would. It was always really difficult to do that with Excel. It was a bit clunky, and I might have to pull a spreadsheet together for four or five different clients. So it was laborious at best. I didn't have one central place to keep everything, and a lot of the work was time consuming and admin heavy, and might have to be replicated three or four times for different clients. I was thinking about formalizing, professionalizing what I was doing a bit more. I think that I reached a point where maybe I had four or five clients rather than two or three, and that makes a big difference to the amount of admin I was doing. But I think there was a point where I was looking at my leads database, as I would have called it, on my spreadsheet, and I realized that it was very hard to maintain and update it constantly. And what I was also building behind the scenes was a huge amount of market intel on what a lot of the venues, clubs, stadiums that I spoke to were doing. And I thought, if I can get this into a more professional looking piece, it will be really valuable to me. And so that was those two things were the basis of wanting to build something. So the process was really impressive, actually, because I'm not the easiest person to extract information out of, because I might say 2,000 words and only 10 of them are of any value. Sean had a very good process for doing that. We did a sort of deep dive into my business. He asked a lot of questions about what my business was and how we made money and where we made money from and the value of different types of clients. And he summarized it in a way that was not only useful for the platform, but really useful for me just as a business owner to sort of really understand and distill how we survive and make money and grow. And that process was really, really useful. And then from there, he took it away and came back a couple of weeks later, I think it was, with okay, this is everything I think you need. And again, very, very good way of getting confirmation about what we were looking to create. And then he took all that information away again and started to build. He had a couple of very useful case studies that gave me a reassurance that he knew what he was doing. And again, from there, the process was very good. He kept bringing me up to speed on what he was making and creating, and then was very hands-on with amends and teething issues that we've had in the first couple of weeks. I think the briefing bit at the start was really, really interesting, not just for building this, but just helping me as an owner of my own business to sort of understand it better. Because one of the things that I found hard in the past is when friends will say, "What do you actually do?" And I'm like, "Oh, who gives a shit about my work?" And now I've found that I've got to a point where I can explain it a lot better. It was so useful, that process. I hadn't done it before, but I've pivoted my business completely in 18 months. And what I used to specialize in was pretty run of the mill. Everyone, and loads of people in my industry did the same thing that I did. We all said it in different ways, but we all sort of did the same thing. So being able to like distill it into a sentence is really key as I try and maybe grow this over the next couple of years. I suppose I was surprised about how quick it was. I don't know how long these things should take, but thought it would take longer than 2 weeks, just to have a basic platform operational. Um, Not only that, there were things that minor glitches early on, as you would expect, which Sean fixed really quickly. So we went from, I think, from the first call to the platform being live was less than a month, which was incredible, really. And what I suppose impressed me most was, as a non-techie person, and I'm okay, but I don't have the best grasp of it and how to explain things. He would hear an issue in pidgin English at best and fix it without any real questions, which I thought was very impressive, because it isn't that easy when someone calls you up or emails you going, you know, that bit on the thing where you do that and you do this and it comes back and you go there. Can you not do that? He would like fix that, and I was like, how have you worked that out to distill it all and take it all and understand it, and then yeah, was impressive, that bit. I think with any good piece of any good piece of software, any good project anyone ever does, it does need a good brief. I think really what we've tried to do throughout is confirm over and over again why this is being built, and not to get lost in all the things and different directions you can take it to. What am I using it for? These three things are very clear. You know, data, market intel, lead tracking, and client reporting. Those are the three, and everything else is not irrelevant, but if it doesn't do those things, that's the most important. Otherwise, I could go on infinitely and just keep adding functions that we don't need. But there've been some really, useful additions along the way, and I think that's been really, really key to this. What's changed, I think, is that I am much clearer day to day, week to week, as to what I need to focus on for that particular day or week ahead. It's it's very easy in what I'm doing, working alone slash with an assistant now, is to lose sight of what I have to focus on. When you've got 100 odd leads at any given time, you can almost have recency bias and just carry on doing what you were doing last Friday, when actually sometimes you need to think, I need to be much more focused on, right, it's Monday, I need to be doing these 10 things because these things need to drop this week. I need to push these things in this direction. That's been the key. And I think streamlining a lot of the data collection, I think, has been what will be really key for this as well. Capturing information from calls and meetings and having a way to lodge it in one place is what will be key for me moving forward. That's what gives me the greatest peace of mind, and also looking at the platform and the dashboards on there and seeing it fill up with deals that we've completed and leads that we've got and intel that's going in now. That's the bit that excites me, because that's particularly the intel piece. As I start to backfill a lot of the information in that I've got, that really does excite me, because I think that's my most valuable asset at the moment. This will definitely reduce my admin time. It will definitely reduce my scrabbling around the back of my inbox to try and remember what I was doing 2 weeks ago time as well. It should do, and if I use it properly, it will streamline everything I do and professionalize the look and feel of everything I do as well. That's the main reason for doing it. My favorite feature, I think, is the dashboard at the front that basically has deals done, leads in process. That I like looking at that every day, because the numbers are increasing on both sides of that. That's my favorite feature, because that's what I didn't have before. I didn't have it in one place, and sometimes it would take me a while to remember how many different leads I had in different with different venues and clubs with different clients. So having it in one place is very, very handy. I do think this will help me grow. I think it will help me win more work. It will help me develop a business that has much more value in the future, because it's less reliant on everything being in my head. It's a much more professional look and feel to what I've been developing work I've been doing over the last 18 months. So 100% think this will help me grow. I would definitely recommend Sean and the services. I think his ability to take a brief and turn it into something has been incredible, really. As a founder or business owner, it's and this is something I know others will struggle with, is having everything in your head is not always the best spot, and having someone's ability to take that out and prize it out of you and turn it into a workable brief, and then a piece of software that basically manages your day better, is priceless.